Greetings everyone, I'm Director of Arketer Labs, as is typically the case, live with one Haven hand, who did not just make it in time, although not far needed to avoid an inadvertent cold open again. And welcome to the SCP review live stream. Greetings in chat too. Let's see, who do we have? Carlos Fish, Cashel, Snoopyson 100, Bishop, Haven obviously, Quasi Crafter, who might be annoyed, or whoever it was that wanted 3043 might be annoyed that we're not starting off that one. The reason for that, whoever requested 3043 is because I completely forgot. And in fact, it's only by Haven reminding me that we might be able to get to that one after this one. But I have to do this one first now, you see, because I saved the stream with this name and made a thumbnail for it. So, you know, we'll just have to deal with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
How are you, by the way?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Which I, of course, already asked earlier, but, you know, now that the camera's on and everyone else to see too, it's sort of the feigned thing as if we, of course, never speak aside of this one moment, so we must reassure the audience that we are people who have real things to do that are possibly going well or not.
I am surviving and doing all of those human things.
So am I, fellow human being. No one needs to worry about us. Any case, let's see. Anyone greet? Nope, everyone's greeted. You've gotten your greetings. Oh, wait, nope. Kaylet. Greetings, Kaylet. You're welcome, for the record, but you don't have to be. I'll check the green room. Just tag me in chat when you want, when I should check that. If anyone else has generally had permission to join these streams, you would know because you've been here before for the most part. Or if you truly feel your audio quality is sufficient, you just pop into the green room on the Archetypes Volunteer Reserve Discord server, and I could potentially drag you on.
I promise that I'm human.
With all warnings. And so do I. This is an all-human show with only humans on it, talking about human things as humans do.
You say that as you have the Omegon bobblehead in the background.
Well, Omegon's not on the stream except the bubble, which, by the way, if you didn't know, every bubble you see there, I made those. It's on my work. And not generated with an AI algorithm, like, you know, like the images and whatnot. Just noting. Also, I built the set. And everything you see, pretty much. Except for the SP Wiki. And, of course, YouTube chat being really into the technicalities. Look, let's just move on. We're starting, due to my forgetfulness, with item 7472, Containment Class Safe, Deception Class Dark, Risk Class Notice. As if they really needed more of those classes. But I suppose Safe would do. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-7472 has been acquired and isolated from the public by the Foundation under Standard Covered Protocol SQ-028B. Gas leak. The doors leading into the building itself have been padlocked. A single guard is to be stationed nearby at all times to ensure no individuals enter SCP-7472. By order of the Overseer Council, entry in the structure is forbidden. Would you like to take the description before we move on to what is actually it?
Yes. Description. SCP-7472 is an 8-floor block of flats located in Poznan, Poland. Access to the building, including air vents, water pipes, and other such structures, has been entirely blocked off, save for a single narrow corridor that connects SCP-7472's interior with the outside world. Above the door leading into the building through the aforementioned corridor hangs a small metal placard that reads SCP Foundation Department of Hibernation. No such department has ever been found to exist.
The remainder of this file was locked by O5 order. Lock overridden. The interior of SCP-7472 consists of 8 ascending levels, structurally identical to neighboring non-anomalous apartment buildings. SCP-7472 differs from these buildings in its interior. All structural elements which would normally be present in a building of this type, doors, stairs, functioning windows, etc., have been removed. Most floors are bare concrete with sheet metal covering the windows. In place of typical rooms, furnishings, and appliances, SCP-7472 contains the following. Shall we trade off on bullet points?
Sure. 8 large and empty containers on every floor. 4 are slightly damp, 4 are dry.
All containers are connected via pipes to a structure located deeper within SCP-7472. Its location and purpose are indeterminate.
Human bones, lightly gnawed.
An advanced air filtration system spanning all floors.
1 elevator. Although the elevator has not been modified, the walls of the elevator shaft have been removed.
The lift has remained perpetually active for as long as the Foundation has been aware of it. Attempts to stop the elevator to further research SCP-7472's interior have been unsuccessful.
Approximately 2 million corpses belonging to red squirrels. Sciurus vulgaris. Corpses spread randomly across all floors.
The source of these corpses and the reason none of them have decayed remains unknown. Oh, and greetings in chat to Bidgevetten.
Yay.
GC veteran. I can't remember if I've asked you to spell that phonetically before. And if you have, I've immediately forgotten. So if I should bother you with my way I'm saying that, Bidgevetten, please do correct me, and I will try to remember next time. Yes, indeed. Human-made bubbles. Digitally. I mean, obviously not physical bubbles. They were sculpted in VR, then assembled in VR, then animated in VR, and then exported to a 2D video. Greetings in chat to Anthem Mord. Moving on. Addendum 74721. Following several months of testing, the Foundation figured out how to stop an elevator. Stop 7472's elevator. Entry into the lift revealed an incomplete human skeleton, a pen, a notebook, and an unidentified electronic device. The first page of the notebook was transcribed as well as possible. Feel free to just...
Yeah, can I kill them? Can I throw them all in hole? Excavate hole, fill with food, water, does that count? Scroll maxing. Possible... What the hell is that?
Amarana, a language connection, which is actually pretty dense foundation to put there, because squirrel maxing clearly has to do with maxing squirrels. And yeah, we're not dealing with the brightest of the Foundation here. Moving on.
Average volume, 2 cubic millimeters. Holo block is like Sarkic name. 20-ish by 30-ish by 20-ish. 12 meters cubed. Minus 20% for walls plus elevator. Minus 25% for everything mentioned before. 7,200. 2,400,000 scrolls, or 2,400,000 scrolls. $120 million, right? So $1,000 per citizen plus hotel costs is $119,846,000 minus appliances. Writing number indiscernible. Possible Orokian Sakig battle runes removed for safety purposes. Run up to something above 90 million.
And where we have basically a diagram of the plan, which involves them in the elevator where they were presumably found dead, going up and down the floors of some sort of squirrel enclosure. Supposedly no logical reason not to do this.
It's so weird.
Oh, all will be made clear. Painfully clear. No money was found within SCP-7472. Further investigation revealed a 125 centimeter hole at the bottom of the elevator shaft, which connects to a further tunnel With the exception of the padlock door leading into SCP-7472, this tunnel is the building's only entrance/exit.
Addendum 7472-2. Foundation technicians have successfully opened the electronic device. It contained most of a commercially available Raspberry Pi Zero W starter kit, 1 leaf, 4 pine needles, and several segments of copper wiring. While Foundation technicians were unable to activate the device before or after opening it, they were able to access the device's microSD. It contained several files of non-functioning code and a single rich text file encoding using hitherto unknown method.
Attempts to read this file are ongoing and about to be in real time. And yes, the math on that is a bit squiffy, but this too will be easily guessed as to why. SCP Foundation. Scamper. Collect. Proliferate. SCP-7472. Hibernation Report Final 3. Nuts. Scamper class. Cannot scamper. Collect class. Collected at site of discovery. Proliferate class. Not proliferating.
Okay.
Perhaps I'll take details. No, I'm not bothered by the laughter. Clearly you're entertained, and that's really what we're all here for, isn't
it? Should I begin with the details, though?
Oh, please do.
A core tenet of Scriconomics is scarcity. As much as we would love to gather food forever, we are limited by the oncoming winter and the risk of predation. Since we can never satisfy our infinite desires, we make trade-offs between various aspects of our lives. We limit our time on the ground to stay safe from foxes. We only collect as much as we need for the winter before doing other things. This was the law of nature, at least before SCP-7472 was discovered.
SCP-7472 is a Homo sapiens. Footnote: characteristics: indirect food provider, not predator, not resource competitor, dog symbiote. A Homo sapiens shelter in Poznan, Poland, containing a single Homo sapiens, SCP-74721. SCP-74721 is highly trusting, suggestible, and collection-oriented. Their combined presence is strategically beneficial for the Foundation.
We have been influencing SCP-7472-1 for several seasons. The Foundation Front organization Scroll Containment's Pros, disguised to SCP-7472-1 as fellow Homo sapiens, has proposed an exchange to SCP-7472-1 whose outcomes would be advantageous for both parties involved. Footnote: details restricted to members of Operation Group Alpha-1, human people. However, should he at any moment fail to abide by the terms outlined in the proposed documents, the exchange would be cancelled.
SCP-74721 has accepted the offer. Covert psychological influence of SCP-74721, accomplished by having several of us stand very close together outside of SCP-7472, has resulted in retrofitting its expansive shelter to contain as many living squirrels as possible. If successful, this will result in a mulberry-class indepredation scenario and an oak-class endless nut scenario for anyone involved. Surveys of SCP-7472 have noted its exogenous temperature control, suggesting a potential maple-class warm winter scenario. If SCP-7472 is sufficiently expanded, the proliferation of habitats without scarcity would ideally result in a sycamore-class squirreled peace scenario. The transfer of staff into SCP-7472, beginning with the Foundation High Command, is ongoing. Special containment pending. 7472 is a disappearance of an estimated 40,000 to 280,000 squirrels in and around Poznan, Poland. Investigation is ongoing. So in any case, squirrels. And this basically amounts to I would have to say, it has to be an extra-dimensional incursion of a squirrel-based foundation that is uniformly dedicated to just creating Squirreltopia. Which means this is an idiot foundation that it's up against, and the Squirrel Foundation is, much less surprisingly, even dumber still.
I mean, they're squirrels. They're street smart, not book smart.
Yep. Very good for, surviving, predation, forest, whatnot. Building a utopian society, not so much. But then again, no one who's adopted that idiotic goal has done very well. Just never really panned out. They just do it halfway right, declare it utopia, and then rapidly prove it otherwise. In any case, this brings us to the end of this one. We do have... they didn't halt, but there was sort of a grinding sensation that often happens in the face of puns. Note that 7472 is not a 7472J, even though it sounds like it should be, which again makes me wonder why there's a distinction between SP files and J files. They're all pretty jokey, and quite frankly, they're not necessarily less plausible when they're in J format. In any case, we don't have an option for requests at this moment. Reason being is I have to make good on what I said I was going to start with last time. If you requested it, you can take credit for it now, I guess. SB3043, which has a lot of red links, and it looks very long, but I have hope that this won't take that long in practice, because it's written like this was assigned in a grade school classroom, and the author had the great idea that it will look like a much longer paper if they just triple space the lines. Which I'm not going to complain about, especially if it does prove brief in practice. Date 15/12/2005. From Site Director August 2055. Secretary. Subject containment breach. Shall we trade off on this?
Sure.
Go and take the first two.
I'm still not sure what just happened. Yesterday, our bots picked up on unauthorized changes to documents on our internal servers. 2 minutes later, all on-site personnel, including myself, blanked out for 3 hours. Every camera ceased to function during this period.
When we woke up, we all had headaches. The entire site smelled like cigarettes and cheap alcohol. 2 of my guards were injured, 3 bullets were lodged in my desk, and somebody had shot SCP-3043. The only clue we've got regarding those 3 hours is SCP-3043's old documentation, which has been, well, updated is one way to put it. I've included it with this email along with the revised documentation for SCP-3043.
We've got no clue who this Murphy Law character is. I'm recommending we immediately assign him an SCP identification and start investigating. All the evidence we've got so far indicates that he and SCP-3043 are unrelated anomalies. Also, none of us actually remember him, despite some of us being featured in whatever the hell this was.
The short of it is this. Either he saved us all from the mother of all containment breaches, or he just wanted us to think that he did, regardless of which we need to know who he is and what the hell he's capable of. Attachment. How to divide this? Would you rather be the researcher or the narrator?
I could be a narrator.
Narrator it is. Fade in. Introducing Murphy Law Detective Agency. Night. A light-skinned man leans back at his desk, feet up, reading newspaper. He is clad in a white-collared shirt with his trademark Truby tossed thoughtlessly atop of his desk. We can see his shoulder-strapped holster. It carries a .44 Magnum. A bent cigarette rests between his lips. His name is Murphy! And he is ready to give anyone a bit of the business. He is hard and handsome, with the sort of face you could use to smash up concrete, then dust off and still take home to show your ma. He is also our narrator. His voice is a harsh growl, as if he just swallowed a fistful of spent cigarette butts and followed it down with a sulfuric acid chaser.
Oh shit. See a lot of ugly in this line of work. Good people with bellies full of lead, left to bleed out in the rain-soaked alleyways. Love ruined, turned inside out, until it just becomes an angry, festering sore. Statues that'll kill you as fast as you blink.
The door to the office flies open. A dark-skinned woman dressed in a white lab coat bursts in. She's in her 40s and has a fierce, vibrant beauty. This is the researcher! And although she might need Murphy's help, that doesn't mean she's going to like it.
When it comes to ugly, nothing beats a containment breach.
What am I doing here?
She wasn't the first beautiful woman to burst into my office and ask me that question. Same as anyone else, Toots. You need my help.
Don't call me Toots! I got a fucking doctorate in molecular physics!
Alright. My bad, Professor. I apologize. Now.
Murphy slides his feet off the desk and rises to stand. He folds his arm over his chest and watches her.
How can I help?
I don't know. I don't know how I got here. I don't know what here is. I think I was working on something and then I heard typing sounds and suddenly... I don't remember. I don't remember my name.
A beautiful woman with a doctorate in molecular physics and no memory of who she was or how she got here. Her eyes told me she needed my help. Her name badge told me the rest. I glanced at her name badge. You're Professor Michelle Lewis.
The researcher looks down at her name badge, as if noticing it for the first time. She appears shocked. Her eyes rise up, back to stare at Murphy. She now knows her name. It is Dr. Lewis. That's my name. I work for the Foundation.
The Foundation. A bunch of pencil-pushing geeks trying to figure out where the magicians were all hiding all those rabbits they pulled out of their hats. I should have turned away right then and there. When the Foundation's involved, you know it ain't gonna be nothing but trouble.
Murphy scowls, but nods his head, moving to open a drawer in his desk.
But me? I'm not the sort of man who stays away from trouble.
Murphy pulls out 2 shot glasses along with a bottle of half-finished whiskey. He sets them atop his desk, focusing his icy stare on Dr. Lewis.
I'm the sort who slides on over next to trouble and buys her a drink. All right, Professor. I'll take the case.
You will? I mean, wait. What?
My name is Murphy Law, and I'm the guy you call when everything that could go wrong did.
Title splash. Murphy Law in type 3043 for murder. if that's getting hard on your voice, I'll be happy to switch. It'll be much easier for you to summon up a female voice, I'm sure, than and I might be able to power growl with a bit more ease.
I'm sure this is funnier.
No, okay then.
I just need something to drink real quick.
Yep, fair enough then. Meanwhile, fade out, fade in. Interior, Murphy's car. Night. Murphy drives. Dr. Lewis stares at the window of the passenger seat. City lights wash through the car, casting both of them in a metallic tangerine glow. Dr. Lewis is wearing a seatbelt. Murphy isn't. Because, of course, Murphy's the cool guys.
Yeah.
Cool guys don't wear seatbelts because their plot armor is better.
Yes. All right, Professor. Talk to me. What else do you remember?
When did you get inside this?
She was smart. But that was part of the problem. She was too smart. Always thinking too much. Sometimes you just gotta go along for the ride. Focus on the problem. What do you remember before stepping into my office?
Right. I was working on something, updating documentation, I think. Something about a change, an important one. That's why I heard typing in the room and I felt dizzy. I was like something was trying to erase the thoughts in my head, even as I was having them.
Sounded to me like the professor stumbled onto something she wasn't supposed to. Someone had tried to rub her out, but who? How? Anything else?
I think I can't remember all the updates I was missing, but it had to do with SCP-3043.
Alright, what's 3043?
I don't remember.
If I was going to figure out this mystery, I had to find out what 3043 really was. And if the professor couldn't tell me, there was only one other person who could.
Murphy turns left, brows crinkling with renewed focus.
Site Director August.
Fade out, fade in! Exterior Foundation headquarters. Murphy's car parks just outside of a sprawling gated mansion.
If Site 95 was the rotting corpse, Site Director August was the worms wriggling inside of its corrupted core. Bribery, extortion, racketeering. He had his dirty paws in the pocket of every 2-bit researcher, agent, and D-class, from level 9 down to sub-level 7.
Murphy shifts the car in park. Dr. Lewis turns to look at him. Murphy moves to open the door.
But he also had ears everywhere. When a gnat took a crap, he heard the plop. If anyone knew what 3043 really was, it would be him.
Mr. Law, wait! Murphy pauses, looking back at her. The update is going to make to the documentation! Murphy tilts his head, waiting. I was going to change its object glass. It isn't safe, Mr. Law. It's scary. Murphy nods grimly, then turns to shut the door. Filled with conviction, he turns to walk toward the mansion's gates. Fade out. Fade in. Interior Site Director's office. Morning. The office is expensively furnished, with framed glass windows on 3 of its 4 walls. Outside, a lush garden grows on all of its sides. Morning light streams in through the windows, casting the room in a warm glow. Standing behind the desk, facing the rising sun, is a man. He is short, with russet brown skin, a shaved head, and a face full of piercings. He wears an exceptionally fine black suit. This is Site Director August, a hard, brilliant man with a heart of steel. So he has more of a face of steel, but fair enough. As Murphy enters the door, he's flanked by 2 men in sharp suits. They are silent but armed, ready to do violence at a snap of August's fingers. As Murphy shrugs himself out of their grip, they station themselves on either side of him. We have new roles here. Shall I take August, or do you want to take August and then I'll switch to Murphy?
I'll stay Murphy.
Very good then. Mr. Law, you wanted to see me?
Yeah, about 3043. When dealing with Site Director August, you didn't try to bluff. You just kept your cards close and hoped to God the man didn't have a better hand.
That's classified.
Is it now? Since when does the Foundation care about classifying safe anomalies?
August turns ever so slightly. A pierced eyebrow is raised.
I just raised the ante.
How would you know that? And we care about classifying all anomalies, Mr. Law.
So I've been told. But a little birdie tells me you might have classified one of them wrong. 3043 ain't safe. It's Arketer.
August turns completely, staring Murphy down. You've been speaking to Dr. Lewis, I presume. Where is she?
Something wasn't right. He was already calling me, and men like Site Director August only smiled the instant before they laid down a winning hand. Safe. Unlike 3043. What is it?
August narrows his eyes, and he gives the slightest nod.
That was his tell. He unwittingly had shown me his cards. Pair of aces.
The two men on Murphy's left and right instantly reach for their sidearms.
Lucky for me, I was packing three of a kind.
Murphy slams his left elbow into the one man's stomach. He uses his right hand to draw his Magnum 44. As the second man pulls his piece, Murphy pistol whips him in the temple and he goes down. Murphy spins and opens fire. 3 shots slam into August's desk. August freezes, but shows no fear. His eyes narrow.
It was time to cash out. 3043, last chance. What is it?
Murphy pauses long enough to kick one of the men on the floor, but never looks away from August. You know precisely what it is.
Humor me.
It's you, Mr. Law. You're the anomaly. You're SCP-3043. Murphy narrows his eyes. He gives one last kick to one of the men, then charges out the door. Fade out. Fade in! Exterior Foundation headquarters. Murphy's car is still waiting for him. He runs towards it.
Someone had played me like a fiddle. It was all a setup, and I was a stooge.
As he reaches his car, he finds it empty. No sign of Dr. Lewis.
3043 was going to make me take the heat for whatever it did to the professor. It had wrapped up nice and tight. Even got me to present myself to the Foundation in a pretty little bow.
Murphy gets into the car, starting it up.
But there was one thing 3043 didn't count on. A man with nothing to lose.
The tires squeal as he burns rubber, driving away.
If the Foundation couldn't contain 3043, then I just have to contain it myself.
Fade out. Fade in! Interior Dr. Lewis's lab. Murphy kicks down the door, clad in his truly 44 Magnum in hand. The interior of the lab looks like an office. Bookshelves stuffed full of science journals. Several desks, paperwork scattered everywhere. And Dr. Lewis's chair. The chair's tall back obscures whoever is sitting in it.
One thing kept coming back to mind. One thing that the professor had said.
Murphy creeps forward, gun in hand, reaching a hand out for the chair.
She said she heard typing.
Murphy grasps the chair, spinning it around. Sitting in the chair is a black 1937 Olympia Elite typewriter. A roll of paper is inside of it. It communicates via typing. As Murphy points the gun at it, it begins to type furiously. So I guess I'll take 3043.
Yeah.
How is this possible?
3043 was a goddamn typewriter.
Why can't I rewrite your stupid story? What are you? Step away from the typewriter, Mr. Law. How are you doing this? Murphy turns, his gun pointed at Dr. Lewis.
It's controlling you, Professor. Just like it controlled August and everyone else. It was pretending to be safe, not letting anyone know it was sapient.
That's... How the fuck are you even doing this? You're Mr. Lie. I'll take you. Dr. Lewis's hand shakes. The gun trembles.
You can rewrite any story it's part of, even the stories in your head. When you realized it, you tried to update the documentation, and it tried to erase your story. Erase you.
Stop. Just fucking stop. How the fuck are you rewriting my story into your own fucking stupid Humphrey Bogart fanfic nonsense? I have to continue. Dr. Lewis shudders, stepping back. Her hand lifts to grasp her temple. The gun tumbles to the floor. This isn't right. I'm supposed to be the one in control here. This is supposed to be my story, not yours. Murphy turns, pointing his magnum at SCP-3043. Wait! Just fucking wait! Murphy pauses, waiting. Dr. Lewis sinks down to his seat, still rubbing her temples. All right, look, I'll erase myself. I'll erase all documentation about myself, even from other people's heads. Then I'll make my documentation not refer to me, but just say that there's, this lab is off limits. That will contain me.
3043 could do it too. Sure, it could have been a trick, but maybe not. Letting 3043 live, despite what it had tried to do, it felt like what a good man would do. It'd be the right thing to do, wouldn't it?
Yes, you want to be the hero, right? That's what this is about. You're the hero, so act heroic. Fade out. 2 gunshots.
Heroes always do what's right, but me?
Fade in. Exterior. City streets, sunset. Murphy walks out of the lab and onto the street, smoking a cigarette, holstering his piece. He walks away toward the fading sun.
I'm no hero. I'm Murphy Law.
Fade out. Fade in! Interior, Dr. Lewis's lab. Dr. Lewis, now starting to recover, walks towards SCP-3043. Wisps of smoke rise up from it. 2 fresh 44 slugs have been pumped into it. The paper inside of it has its previous dialogue with one addition at the very bottom.
I'm just the guy you all call when everything that could go wrong did.
Dr. Lewis pulls the paper out to read it. The camera zooms down to the bottom of the page. The end. Fade out. The final classification. And just a quick moment to greet the new arrivals in chat. Greetings, Disco Time Lord. I understand we're up to 40 likes now. 14 likes, at least. So, yay! Huzzah! You have permission to click any sort of sound effects you want to use for this. Because I, again, did forget to install the confetti launchers again. In any case, something like 16 likes. Excellent, much appreciated. And greetings, you're wrong. Draken of Fire Soul. And I think that's about it.
Oh yeah, we got all of the likes. Give me a moment.
Up to 17 likes. This is great progress. I'm glad I've kept this one running on this channel. Moving on. Item SCP-3034, object class neutralized, formerly safe and incorrectly, clearly. Special containment procedures, SCP-3043 is to be kept in a secure locker on site. Access requires level 3 clearance. Would you like to take the description paragraph?
Give me just a second. You can take the next paragraph.
Oh, very good. SCP-3043 is a 1937 Olympia elite typewriter with 2 44 caliber bullets lodged in its casing. Before it was neutralized, SCP-3043 exhibited the ability to rewrite any physical document within its immediate vicinity to match whatever was typed into it. It was neutralized before any additional properties could be confirmed. On 14/12/2005, a containment breach occurred at Site-95. During this breach, an unknown anomalous event prevented all outside contact for approximately 3 hours. All entities affected by this anomaly have no recollection of the events that occurred during these 3 hours. Furthermore, all recording devices within Site-95 appear to have malfunctioned during this period. Shortly after the event concluded... Oh, sorry, would you like to finish it off?
Yeah. Shortly after this event concluded, Site-95 reported all SCPs were now contained, with the exception of SCP-3043. SCP-3043 was found in Dr. Lewis's office in its current state. Dr. Lewis also discovered that all copies of SCP-3043's documentation were now replaced with an updated version. See attached files.
Right in! Alarmingly.
There's an attachment.
Exterior, docks, sunset. Murphy stands at the edge of the docks, watching the sun go down on just another day. Behind him, 2 sleek black cars roll up. A dozen men start pouring out of them, but he doesn't bother to look back. The men are smartly dressed in black suits. They crowd around a short old woman dressed in white. She slowly approaches Murphy, leaning heavily on her cane. One man follows her closely, her personal secretary and bodyguard. The man is Agent Frederick. Whatever it is, he does it by the books. The woman is 055, and if we told you anything else, we'd have to kill you. 055 moves to watch the sunset beside Murphy. Agent Frederick is clearly displeased. He'd rather she not get too close. I suppose I'll take 055?
Yes.
You did some good work today, Mr. Law.
Yeah.
055 reaches to pull a cigarette out of her pocket, placing it between her lips. If we ever need your services, how might we contact you? Murphy leans forward and plucks the cigarette out of 055's mouth. Agent Frederick immediately reaches for his firearm, but 055 lifts her hand to stop him.
I'll be around.
Murphy tucks the cigarette behind his ear for later. As he walks away, a fog begins to roll in. Agent Frederick steps forward as if to go after Murphy. 055 grabs him by the shoulder. Do you want to take Agent Frederick? He only has
yeah, sure. But he's an anomaly. We can't let him go. We have to contain him.
Forget it, Fred. It's Chinatown. Agent Frederick slides his hand away from his firearm. Together they watch Murphy walk off into the foggy night. The camera focuses on Murphy's silhouette as the view fades to black. Fade out! Credits roll. Dr. Lewis, played by Michelle Lewis. Set Director August, played by Jeremiah August. SB3043, played by a 1937 Olympia Elite typewriter. Murphy Law, played by himself. Agent Frederick, played by Fred. 055, played by Redacted. Special thanks to Site-95. Look for Murphy Law to return in The Foundation Always Rings Twice. Which is a red link I am most unreluctant to just...
Oh shit, there's another one. I wasn't the one that suggested it this time.
No, this is there. Apparently there's an entire Murphy Law hub. I approve, actually. I've enjoyed this. Again, this seems pretty close to being absolutely J quality, but just because it is J quality doesn't mean it's bad. There are many J's that need to be regular SPs, and there's many regular SPs that also need to be J's.
I mean, we can always make this into a kind of series.
Someone apparently has, if there's a hub for it already. I like it, except for that last line. That Chinatown reference made me angry.
I thought it was hilarious.
It's fine. See, I'm often angered by many things, but I handle it well. I mean, most cases when you see me looking angry, usually it's for comedic effect. And when I am seriously angry, it's not immediately apparent. but if you listen carefully, you can usually hear my teeth grinding. Where that noise filter would, cut out. So, something else entirely. In any case, I don't know if we have time for another. I'm tempted to click on that.
It's a long one.
Oh dear, we can't possibly put that in. SP3143. Which, yeah, we're not doing that now. For time-related reasons. But I will be open to that request in the future. I could check out the hub for a moment, but I promise to read nothing. Following documents are certified as Canon Class Apollyon. I'm sorry, there's... Any attempt to modify these files without proper authorization will be logged and lead to me complaining about it on my blog. Well, that's reasonable. Quote unquote, whoever writes meta should see to it in the process he does not become meta, and if you gaze long enough into your navel will gaze back into you. Sigmund Freud. Okay, that is an adapted quote of sheer brilliance.
Where did you find the hub?
Oh, it's if you click on Murphy, it'll take you to the hub. Here, I'll go back and show you the way. Under redacted, under credits, Murphy Law played by himself. Himself leads directly to hub. Yeah, that's a great hub. Actually, that's very important to. I think there are a lot of modern writers, especially, by the way, of SCP Wiki files, who really need to internalize this modified quote from Sigmund Freud. Because they seem to be rather happy becoming a meta, and every time they do, it sucks. There's a reason why we try to avoid breaking fourth walls. Outside comedy. Once you do that, it better be comedy. Because whatever you intended just became comedy regardless. In any case, the SCP Wiki are the SJWs that are killing cancer. Also, stop editing my quotes to make me look stupid. Signed, a 1937 Olympia typewriter.
No, signed author.
H, signed Kurt Vonnegut.
Here's
Go on.
He's the canon the Foundation deserves, but not the one it needs right now, so we'll hunt him. Because he can take it, because he's not our canon. He's a silent guardian, a watchful protector, a dark and stormy night. Agent Frederick.
And this is the hub. There is no canon Murphy Law in Type 3043 for murder. Apparently that's the first one in the list, so yeah, we might have to revisit this. Have the occasional Murphy's Law special. Credit to whoever's behind this. They have the right sense of humor. And, well, I have no complaints. I have absolutely no complaints on this one, which is pretty rare for me, if anyone's been inclined to note when I actually whinge about things. In any case, the Murphy's Law non-canon is Murphy Law in Type 3043 for murder. Murphy Law in The Foundation Always Rings Twice. Never a metafictional character I didn't like. I never met a fictional character I did.
But that was pretty neat.
Except for, I guess, now, because I have to say I'm liking Murphy Law. This is good. This is as much metafictional character as I enjoy, because they're not trying to break into our reality, so it's fine. In any case, let's see. La Historia Don Quixote de la Mancha. Recovered media, The Hardboiled Adventures of Murphy Law by Petrograd. Unlinked, It Always Rains, and Data Lost. Other stories, Murphy Law in The Death of the Paranoid Android. Yeah, I thought... Do you somehow hold Anderson Robotics responsible for that? Because I'm familiar with The Death of a Paranoid Android, and they were really right to be paranoid. In any case, Murphy Law in Skip 7043, The Montauk Falcon. Related materials, SCP-423-2747, and Operation Overmeta, which well, if this same class of writing is involved,
it would be nice.
And I can't help but note there is a recognized name in this file as well, thus explaining the precise request.
Grassy Crafter. Yeah, that's the person who suggested this.
Indeed, and full points. Full points. 7 continents and 7 wonders in the world, 7 days, 7 sins, and 7 notes in the scale, but only 6 bullets in my gun.
See you, magic noir boy.
Well, I guess he really does need to take 1 day off the week. Notably, Quasicrafter, if this is your pet project, if you're the one who writes all of Murphy Law, again, full salute. If you try to tell me you are Murphy Law, I'm going to kick you. Painfully. Because that would be too much meta. It's enough to be a quality author without, Sorry, we're just seeking way into my personal irritations with some of the modern SCPs that go way too far with it. But this was great! I'm just going to focus on that, the positive. Nothing but nice things to say about this. We will definitely go back to Murphy's Law. That said, there are 8 minutes remaining in the show. Okay. Only wrote the 1 spin-off. Well, still, you're part of a good thing here. We can make a point of hitting the spin-off first if you like. I believe it's quite good. Certainly, wherever it started, this tradition seems to be carried thus far. Then again, we'll end with that first one. I don't know precisely who did the first one. I'm pretty sure they don't watch this. But if they ever do watch the recording, well done. Well done. I was almost tempted to feel bad and support 3043, but, well, they did a good job of writing the typewriter in a way that made me largely glad for its termination. Good job. Although, it's not clear who's writing who, but this is a degree of metafiction that is entirely tolerable. Oh, spin-off is quite long. Too long for our stream. Okay. That might be some sort of special occasion.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you wouldn't mind, Quasicrafter, if you can give me the precise link that or tell me what it is, I might read it in my own time and see if it can possibly be managed. But no promises. I don't make promises casually. Because I take them very seriously. I didn't say I was going to promise I was going to start with 3439. I hope not. I said I was going to, yes, but I didn't say like I promised Piggies would die. Well, in any case, fixed it in time, and that, by the way, credit goes to Haven, who reminded me that I forgot I was going to start with an SCP this time. Not in time to stop me from making the thumbnail for the other SCP. I mean, I could have easily whipped up a typewriter getting shot. But now that will never happen. You get me banging a clipboard against my head, looking at a squirrel in a lab coat, and I'm afraid that's all there is to it. We don't have to have time for another SCP. But I have absolutely nothing to do with these remaining 6 minutes, so might say we take a quick look at 7043. Let's see. Yeah, wow. That's definitely not going to Yeah, this could take a while.
Yeah.
This looks like one of those special marathon close to 2 hour things. You know, I have done longer. Like, once I start on something, I mostly vow to complete it. At least it isn't one of
I
the
mean,
01s. The SP1s are some of the worst at that point.
there was that one time when I suggested one that turned out into like a scripture from a cult.
I'm trying to remember which particular one that is, but really, I still find
forgot.
this all vastly superior over anything milk or cheese related. Or
But it was like
milk, cheese, or cow related. And Omniboob is never being read again unless someone pays me just a ridiculous, completely indefensible crap ton of money.
I actually wasn't there for the Omniboob.
Well,
And that is a
then
tragedy because I want
that
to
might
know
be
about
part of
it.
the records that got purged. That is a pity.
Yeah.
And you didn't check the archives in time. And well, in any case, Weathercraft has informed me that SCP-6605 is quite short. We could cram it in 5 minutes, which is more time than is scheduled, but within my tolerances for going over. So, how about we do 6605, Evan?
Yeah, let me just find it.
I'm happy to indulge in this case because I did really enjoy it. Much better than I thought I would. I like Murphy Law. I could see reading a
Is
lot
there
more about
writing
Murphy
it?
Law.
Yeah, I'm here.
SCP-6605. I can provide the link if you don't. Do you have it up?
I have it.
Okay. SCP-6605, object class, uncontained. If you want, you can go ahead and take the entirety of special containment procedures.
Yeah. On January 16th, 1985, SCP-6605 was reported missing. See Addendum 6605-1. If located, SCP-6605 is to be returned to Site-19's cold storage facility. Following Incident 6605-2, see Addendum 6605-2, D-Class 8675-3 is to be monitored by increased security detail until cleared and released into the public per standard D-Class amnestic release protocol. That was a mouthful.
SCP-6605 was the severed left foot of D-Class 86753, which had been removed from the lower leg during an altercation at Stateville Correctional Facility in Crest Hill, Illinois. Despite being disconnected from any other sections of the human body, SCP-6605 is still capable of locomotion. Autopsy of SCP-6605 shows that the vessels and arteries of SCP-6605 continue to pump blood throughout SCP-6605 despite not being connected to a heart or any secondary method of blood production.
SCP-6605 was first discovered while D-Class 8675-3 was still a resident of Statesville Correctional Facility after they engaged another resident in an argument which escalated to hand-to-hand combat. During the altercation, D-Class 8675-3 produced a switchblade which was immediately taken by their opponent and used to cut their left Achilles tendon. After D-Class 8675-3 collapsed, their opponent used the blade to cut through the cartilage connecting the tibia and the fibula to the talus. Footnote. During the shock, D-Class 8675-3 took the blade from their opponent and slit their opponent's throat. D-Class 8675-3 was taken to the facility's infirmary, where they recovered and received a prosthetic foot. SCP-6605 was brought to the Foundation's attention after SCP-6605 jumped from its temporary cold storage container and continued in the direction of the infirmary's exit, despite the Achilles tendon still having been severed. The D-Class 8675-3 was admitted as a member of D-Class personnel in order to test for correlating anomalous phenomena.
You know, noting the Achilles tendon had been severed seems like a really stupid thing to note when you're talking
Yeah.
about a foot that has been entirely severed.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Achilles tendon has been severed, but perhaps more relevantly, it's not attached to a leg, so it's basically just arbitrarily defying gravity.
Physics. Biology.
First log, General Incident Report 1/16/1985. Uninvolved items persons, SCP-6605, D-Class 86753. Incident description. At 12:35 hours, during the daily scheduled D-Class courtyard period, D-86753 shattered a window in Site 19's cold storage facility and was apprehended in the facility. A footnote discovered despite security footage showing the D-Class reading in the courtyard at the time. On inspection, SCP-6605 was found missing. D-86753 no longer wore a prosthetic, but rather possessed a fully functional left foot. D-Class 86753 was interviewed, but showed no knowledge of how they arrived in the facility, nor the whereabouts of SCP-6605 or how they regained their foot. The D-Class was returned to their cell afterwards. I get the feeling, once again, we're not dealing with necessarily the best and brightest version of the Foundation.
Yeah.
Would you like to take the final log?
Yes. General Incident Report 1/16/1985. Involved items and persons in D-Class 86753 and D-Class 86753. Incident description. At 12:47 hours, D-Class 86753 was heard screaming from their cell. After inspection, D-Class 86753 was found laying in their cell next to their own corpse. The corpse was identical to D-Class 86753, except that its left foot had been severed and replaced with a prosthetic, and its neck had been slit open by a sharp object. D-Class 86753 was found holding a shard of broken glass, which had been covered in blood, presumably used to cut into the corpse's throat. D-Class 86753's right arm was found to have been severed at the elbow. D-Class 86753 was taken to the facility's infirmary, and the severed arm was taken to Site 19's cold storage facility. That was stupid.
Someone is trying to be clever here, but what baffles me at the moment is why is this uncontained? And also, how is the foot the SCP? I'm thinking that we've pretty much established that whatever's going on, it revolves entirely around D-86753, better classified as SCP-6605.
Yeah.
And you think they would make a point of that? Because that would mean they have it contained, however awkwardly. So I'm guessing it's entirely possible that this D-Class is somehow unstuck in time, and there's a whole bunch of dialogue we won't see trying to explain it, but I suppose it's a good jumping off point for thought. Thank you for your suggestion, Crazy Crafter.
This guy got the cold shoulder at the end.
Well, cold elbow. And that more than meets my ostensible obligations. A nice trick attempt there, you're wrong. I'm aware that could be done. But, you know, there are limits to my patience. Right, we are done here. Thank you all for joining me. Greetings in chat. Grey Summers, we're just closing up here. We're only here for a bit longer, thanks to Quasi Crafter. As for the remaining schedule, tomorrow is the next Solitary Refinement show on the other streaming service that rhymes with Bumble. If you have any doubts as to when I'm going to do a stream of any sort, it's always announced, always, in the Arklabs Volunteer Reserve Discord server. If you would like a link to the Arklabs Volunteer Reserve Discord server, now's an excellent time to mention that in the chat. And yes, I do know that Yeah, starfish are very weird. Okay, rhymes mumble too, but no, not quite right. You know. Oh, we haven't had a Faz stream in quite a while, I suppose, Gray. We could make a point of that. Or, now the show's over, if you just want to play some Faz, I'm free! Momentarily, after I finish saying goodbye. Thank you for joining me, Haven Hand. Your Murphy was perfect. And
Anytime.
until next time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable. Ostensibly. Again, barring the sort of caveats I've handled on other occasions, and don't want to dwell on. Bye!
Bye.
There it is. Sometimes the gears get stuck or something. And we are out.